Hello and welcome to Camp Xbox. Since the early days of the Xbox, FromSoftware was a neat part of Xbox history, giving out great Xbox exclusives like Otogi and Murakumo. As the Xbox 360 rolled around, we would get the exclusive Chrome Hounds and another game that was launched as an exclusive with Enchanted Arms, a forgotten piece of the company's history. I played through it recently, and let me give you some history as well as my opinion on it. All footage was captured off of an Xbox 360 except when noted, and I want to thank my YouTube channel members for their support. But let's go ahead and hop into this one.
Are you ready, Atsuma?
Huh? What? Where? What's going on?
After the official unveiling of the Xbox 360 in Japan at the 2005 Xbox Summit, several developers and publishers were announced as supporting the Xbox. One of those names that came up was Japanese developer FromSoftware, known for its unconventional games but always being creative. A company that had made King's Field, which was a tough RPG series for the PlayStation, and the mech series Armored Core. Shortly after, in July, they would announce a game for the Japanese Xbox 360 launch, Enchanted Arm. IGN would describe it as a quintessential JRPG with a turn-based combat system and a futuristic style. In an interview with FromSoftware's Masanori Takeuchi, he seemed to be optimistic about the power of the Xbox, but was trying hard to make sure that the huge game could fit on the one disc. That might have caused delays, however, it's unconfirmed what pushed it out from the Japanese launch, which was initially scheduled for December, but this game ultimately released in January 2006. The game sold poorly and received poor reviews in Japan. This game was destined to stay in Japan till Ubisoft announced at E3 2006 that they were picking it up for release in North America, Australia, and Europe. This was a good sign, as though the 360 had some planned JRPGs, they weren't a thing yet on the console. There was some buzz leading up to its release because JRPGs and the Xbox weren't a match quite yet, and it was time to see how it held up. It was going to have a full English voiceover and was looking quite good graphically. On August 29th, 2006, Enchanted Arms would drop on the Xbox 360. It would get its European and Australian releases the following March. I personally have played this one before, but I've never beaten it. The first time, I grew tired of it and stopped. The second time, I got a bit further, but was distracted by other games that came out. Well, recently, I sat down and gave it a third shot. And let me tell you how that went, breaking it down, starting with the plot.
What's the big deal with my arm anyway?
You can't fool my sharp eyes. That arm has been created by some kind of cool technology. I know it.
Enchanted Arms sets you up for a buddy JRPG plot from the main menu through to the opening hour. You play as Atsuma, who is dumb and he doesn't really listen in school, and most things go over his head, but he has heart and strength. You have a lovable smart buddy and a silly character that hates you but will stick beside you no matter what. It's cliche and by the books right from the start. If you are expecting fresh characters, you will not get that here. Though these characters stop from being part of your team soon because an ancient race of devil golems are awakened and destroy your city, you end up on an adventure to find out the secrets of your enchanted arm, which can be used to destroy the most evil devil golem, the Ice Queen. You travel across the world, meeting knights, princesses, and treasure hunters to take her down. Though I cannot find a true place of origin, something about this game feels vaguely familiar, like a mishmash of anime and JRPG tropes. Though tropes and cliches can be played with and still can be used well in some media, but I can't say this one does it that well. I did find it engaging. It's certainly entertaining in some facet, but was it that good? Not really. What hurts it the most is some cheesy dialogue. This game goes for something funny, but never achieves it. It has a lot of puns that don't land, and it actually makes the characters less relatable and likable. Not only that, the lead Atsuma is treated like a complete idiot to a detriment. Hours upon hours into the game, he will be explained how to swim or open a chest, which is all just done by hitting A. In these tedious dialogue sections that has people explain these things to you like a baby, and then you have to confirm that you learned it. It's almost humiliating at times. I will say the voice acting does not help this either, and switching to Japanese voices and reading it makes it come off a lot better. Aside from the dialogue, I do think the lore and world of the story is one of the better parts of the game. The world is expansive. It's a world on the verge of a reset due to greed, which does have heavy themes for the era. It just would be better handled with a more serious set of dialogue and performances. I think it's fine for what it is. It's entertaining and light fun, but I do feel it could have been better. Missed potential is always a bit sad and leaves me feeling a bit cold on the plot. When you think of a traditionally played turn-based RPG, you get that here. You will either walk through linear areas or encounter random battles and fight. Not that that's a bad thing though. It's a formula that works and one that I personally enjoy, especially when walking through the areas. Something I'll get into more is that the world itself looks excellent, and I do enjoy all the locations you go to. It makes the simple walking around just a bit better, though I can't say it's entirely engaging. The world and plot you go through are linear. I don't mind linear experiences, but here it is a straight funnel. Tight corridors and outdoor sections that spit you out in the same direction. Towns are small, and it feels like a tight and intimate experience. There are even golems you can use in battle, and they're supposed to be hidden around, but it's not very hidden because it's always on your path. It removes exploration and makes the world feel a bit more bland. However, the locations have enough variety to at least make it visually appealing. They do try to beef it up with some insane random encounter rates. I'm talking 2 steps and you're in a new fight. It's fine for grinding, but just trying to get somewhere can add a significant amount of time to your gameplay. Luckily though, this game has some forward-thinking features for its fights. You can fast forward all animations as well as auto battle. It does streamline and make the process easier, but it's not perfect at prediction, so it's not something you can lean on constantly. That's for the better, as this makes you participate in more entertaining battles. The battles are based on a grid system, and each player has moves that only affect a specific part of the board. You have attacks that hit certain parts of the other side, and then supporting moves use tiles on your side. It's a game of moving everyone into positions to attack the other side, but making sure you don't land in vulnerable places. They attack in rows generally, so you want to space everyone out a bit if you don't want the whole team hurt. It's a mix of strategy with the battles that I quite enjoy, and it leads to a fun and thoughtful system. Fights can last a bit, but I never found myself tired of them, and it's one of the better parts of the game. It helps that on top of human characters, there are a ton of golems you can bring with you, with unique moves to help flesh out your team. It's a mix of elemental moves with the usual fire beats water elemental shtick, but it's tried and true, and I do think it keeps the fights fun. General leveling is fun too, where you get XP, but also points where you can learn new moves. You get new stronger moves from chests and stores as you progress, and learning them takes a lot of points. In the first half of the game, you can manage it, but after that, you do have to grind, and that's up to you if you're into that. You need these moves too because the game spikes in difficulty with its boss battles. Yet, if you keep up, it's challenging but fun. The fights and moves that come with it become worth it, and the strategy turn-based RPG style is still fresh to this day. Though if there's one gripe, it's that you start each fight randomly on the board, and this can mess you up with opening moves. But if you lose a fight, you can just reset at the start of the battle, which is a nice quality of life feature. The exploration is fine, the combat is engaging, but a significant portion of this game is spent on dialogue. It is an RPG, so there is a lot of plot and dialogue, but this game is loaded with conversations. It's not even dynamic, and it's just the 2 characters with limited animations going on that you see sometimes. As I mentioned, the dialogue is cheesy and unenthralling, which detracts from the gameplay. Time that could be spent looking at cities or getting into fights. Instead, you're stuck in some cheap dialogue sections. And when that's a good chunk of your game, it does drag down the experience a little bit. It's very much a mixed bag of an experience. Starting from the top of gameplay with the battles, I think the strategy edge works with it. And it all feels like a typical RPG with simple menus and movements. It's easy to control. There are no fundamental issues with this game, but excessive time is spent locked out of gameplay in dialogue, and it really lacks anything dynamic, and it detracts from the gameplay. Half of the game is mashing A, gameplay to get through dialogue, which would be fine if it were enthralling, but it's cookie cutter. So in turn, it kills some of the momentum of the gameplay. One of the hidden great things about Enchanted Arms is its music. Composed by Yuki Ichiki, who has worked on games like Lumines and Otogi, brings an odd style to a relaxed atmosphere that I love. Like guitars will play in the school, but it has this gorgeous layering behind it. I found that the layering of these tracks is what I appreciated the most. These tracks typically begin with a simple idea, and then more elements gradually emerge, building up to something larger. Every area gets a unique song, and I found each one to be equally relaxing. I love that it gives this game a languid style because I don't think that it is captured enough in RPGs. There is songs that hit epic notes, but for the most part, it's pretty chill. I mentioned this earlier, but I did not like the English voice work in this game. I don't necessarily fault the voice actors, but more the writing. It's cheesy and tries hard to be funny, but it comes off as hard to listen to.
That's a burger that contains fresh, raw fish as opposed to your average beef patty, with a side order of deep-fried calamari.
You poor thing, ordering such junk. Certainly nothing compared to my extra special Makoto Love Lunch.
Wow, that does look good.
Look all you want, you aren't getting any.
Okay, you two, let's eat.
I recommend dropping the English and switching to the Japanese voice work. It doesn't sound as over the top and comes off better. Also, it just makes the text come off in a better way.
君はどうして学園にどうして封鎖区画の中に入りたかったんだっけ
そりゃそうそう
I do like that everyone gets voice acting in this game, and it feels more complete when most people you talk to have a voice tied to them. All the other sound effects of the game are pretty good. All of the sounds of throwing out spells and hits in battles make the slower fights a little more full. The characters drop lines as they dish out hits the whole time, which works. I think the world itself has subtle noises, such as opening chests and other elements, that do make the game come together. Once again, it all sounds remarkably calm, and that helps maintain a chill nature throughout the game.
You ready for this? Okay! I see you! Yeah!
I've seen some contemporary comments about this game, and I've seen it called cheap and ugly, which I don't see that at all. For 2006, I think Enchanted Arms is an excellent looking game, and the world design is fantastic. The fidelity is all there, and there are a lot of nice colors in this game. Enchanted Arms renders space extremely well with gigantic areas that expand outward. Not only that, but you travel to deserts, castle cities, and gardens to make for something that has a nice amount of variety. The lighting of it all makes it shine through, and I think the cities and world are loaded with great detail. The city of New London, with its winding corridors and tall city walls, is great to look at. I think if one thing is achieved well here, it is the setting. If there is one thing that feels a bit cheap, it's the dialogue scenes. These are sections where it's two characters speaking, and that's all you see on screen. In general, this is something you see a lot in JRPGs, but here it feels shallow, and that is the bulk of what you see sometimes. The character animations repeat constantly, and I wanted something more dynamic, though the character models themselves are well designed and unique. I think everyone has some silly quirks to them that make them stand out. I especially love the Green Knight and the yellow treasure hunting cowgirl. Another testament to the fact that the art here is what makes this game something to come back to. Also, I should mention that this game is backwards compatible on the One and Series consoles. It's not available digitally anymore, so you do have to have a disc. It looks much cleaner on the Series consoles and is a more convenient option for many people, so I'm happy to see this one make the cut. Enchanted Arms is one of those games that I do like, but its flaws hold it back. It does feel like a missed opportunity game. I think the combat is a lot of fun, and the variety you get from the golems and the special powers keep that fresh, along with the great quality of life features such as auto-battling and fast-forwarding. The story, though, is a bit plain, and the dialogue is quite poor. Visually, it is striking and memorable along with the music, making for a game that I'd rather reminisce about the feeling it gave me while exploring than actually playing it. Also, the exploration can be fun, though it is easy to tell how linear it is, jumping from story beat to story beat. It's easy to say that the gameplay trumps story, but this game is so focused on its plot that it removes great gameplay for bad dialogue sequences, making the game overall a mixed bag. One that I did find fun, but misses the mark a bit. On my ranking list of 360 games I've covered on the channel, this one enters in at number 23 out of the 26 I've covered. My 360 list does not feature a lot of bad games, so this one is low for now, but later on I do feel like this will end up more mid-tier as we add on to this list. I do think I like the mood of this one more than Kane and Lynch. The music and setting will stick with me, whereas Kane's dark mood hasn't been a strong element that stuck with me. Call of Duty 2 is a better game though, with much more entertaining gameplay, which Call of Duty 2 kept me entertained throughout its playtime. Enchanted Arms came out to mixed reviews according to Metacritic, with a score of 69 out of 100. IGN gave it a 7.6, saying that the fast forwarding was nice, but the fighting was a bit too boring. GameSpot gave it a 7.1, saying that though it was nice, it was forgettable. In October 2006, official Xbox magazine gave it a 6.5, saying that the characters were endearing, but in every other respect it was average. So with its release, it seemed like that would be it for Enchanted Arms, but quickly after the 360 launch, Ubisoft announced that Enchanted Arms would be making its way to the PS3. Which is funny because this game on its cover says only on the Xbox 360. It was released in all markets the following year in 2007, and the reviews did not fare much better there, with mixed reviews and poor sales. According to VG charts, the 360 version only sold around 190,000 copies, and the PS3 version around 200,000. This game seemed destined to be left by time. Honestly, it kind of has. I know this game has its fans, but not many bring it up today. FromSoftware is now more popular than ever, with their Dark Souls series being a giant hit, but I doubt this entry from the past will ever make a comeback. Luckily, with backwards compatibility support, it does make it more noticeable in that respect. I also see plenty of comments on YouTube with people having strong memories of playing this game. Though I'm backlogged, it only has over 300 plays. It also holds a 2.8 out of 5 average. There are some that love it in the reviews, but many reviews call it average or weak, making for a FromSoftware game with a very mixed legacy. But that does wrap it up for today. If you enjoyed this review, please leave a like, it helps me out in the algorithm. Subscribe to keep up with retro Xbox content. Be sure to comment below with any memories you might have of this game. I would love to hear from you. Also, be sure to check out my second channel, Camp Extras, for more gaming content. And I want to give a huge shout out to my YouTube channel members. Thank you so much for your support. You really help out the channel. And I'll see you here next time at Camp Xbox.